Welcome to HSBC Build and Grow, a series that focuses on managing finance for business continuity. As financials takes center stage in business continuity conversations, your story together with HSBC is proud to present this series, featuring some of the finest minds in the ecosystem to help businesses leverage the financial ingenuity, perspective, and insights from these experts to power their own journey, their own continuity. Vivekanand, very excited to be talking to you. And I think this is third time we are going on record on video to have a conversation. And I love your energy. So this time, when the world is actually feeling less of energy and mobility, the space that you are in is facing one of the, if we can say, one of the toughest moments. How are you seeing? If I have to say as of today, how are you seeing mobility space per se and your business, Bounce, your startup? How is it doing?
Right. So I'll probably start off with mobility assets, right? So
yeah,
I think people have to move if economies have to move. So I think mobility is going to come back. And definitely there'll be a shift in the way people move. But with a country like India, I think still ownership is not the option or a solution for large set of population. Uh, I think even from a city point of view, ownership won't help anyone. It really causes a lot of chaos if everybody starts buying their own two-wheelers or four-wheelers. Public transport will have to change the way they work, because most of our public transport have always been congested during the peak hours.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work in a COVID or a post-COVID world. And definitely safety will be one of the main things that people would think about now. It's just not affordability for India. It's also safety that people would think of. So given all this, I think mobility should come back. I don't think everybody has the luxury of working from home. There are a lot of kinds of businesses which can't be just done from home. The sales representatives can't work from home. Bunch of businesses, right? Other than probably IT and other companies, I think, and India is a very unorganized country as such in terms of economy, right? So I think people will have to come out, and mobility will bounce back. But I think everyone has to change the way they were thinking about mobility pre-COVID and post-COVID. And since nobody knows on the future on either the fundraisers or everything else, right? And because it's a very uncertain period, everyone will walk cautiously. So there'll be a lot of sanity, according to me. And so everything will, I think everyone will start looking at unit economics more, will think of whether this will work, because nobody knows when the next amount of money is coming to the bank. So I think everyone will try to make good of the money they have. So I think in a way, world will see the best of the mobility now than before. Yeah. So that's my.
Yeah. When you were answering, I picked up the line that you said, mobility will bounce back. and we can't talk about mobility without talking about the new normal, right? Like the new normal will be different because everyone is very worried about safety and security. And in fact, now in Bangalore, as we are seeing the rise of cases, I'm just hearing from people that how people are very, very scared right now, and rightfully so. I want to ask you, Vivekanand, how are you looking at safety in your company?
Yeah, so our solution is pretty simple, right? At least we don't have a human in the solution other than the customer. So there is no other driver in the solution, which makes it easy because you know about your condition, and the only other element in the solution is the physical scooter, which has limited touch points, as in you just have to ride the scooter. Helmet is a big safety point, right? While riding a scooter, and now with shared helmets, it would definitely not make sense. So we have asked users to get their own helmets. We are selling helmets also at very low cost, because we had built a supply chain around helmets. We are selling helmets at low cost. So all we are asking users is to bring their own helmets, ride Bounce the way they used to Bounce, and just take care of their primary sanitization. As a post ride, we just have to make sure that their hands are clean. Apart from this, we also did one particular change in our solution where we started onboarding a lot of mom and pop stores where people can drop off the scooters. What we have done is we have leveraged the Kirana network, who are also struggling in their own way. So they can sanitize the scooter after every ride. So you can also ask the Kirana guy to sanitize the scooter before you take the scooter. So we're also kind of using the Kirana network to do this. We have onboarded close to about 300, 400 Kiranas in Bangalore. By this month end, we are targeting to onboard at least 1,500 to 2,000 Kiranas. So probably that will also add another added safety angle to the users. But we still think that of all the solutions out there, probably Bounce is still the safest as compared to everything else, is what we believe.
Vivekanand, I'm just, now that you're answering, I'm thinking how much of an effort you and your team would have put in the last few months, right? Like, and congratulations and thank you on behalf of everyone who will be using Bounce, because all these steps definitely matter. But it also brings one more question, right? Like, now that you have to take care of so many things, so many more variables have come, right? How are you looking at your cost structure? Because as we said, you are in an area where the unit economics gets discussed, and it's like a very, it's a very good point of discussion in the ecosystem. So tell me, does it change the spend?
I think beauty around cost to some extent is that there are a lot of controllable costs, and you can definitely use those levers. And I think, pre-COVID, we were making money on a ride in Hyderabad. So we went profitable, and Bangalore, we were a few rupees away making money on the ride. But COVID happened. But still, it's a massive effort, right? Because we have $1,000 scooter running just out there, and you have to make sure that it really works. And we are in a very penny business, right? As in, you just have to take care of every penny that which comes in the business. So what we are trying to do is we are leveraging this time to try out certain things which we otherwise would have taken a lot of time. We are accelerating EV. We are accelerating the Kirana pickup and drop off, where we can partner with the mom and pop stores. I always believe that if you can onboard 200,000 Kiranas and get them 4 scooters, you almost have a million scooter on your platform. So I think this is the time when we can accelerate all of this, and that is what, as a company, we are trying to do. I think our biggest cost also was coming from vehicles being on the road, or fuel theft or vandalism or anything of that sort. Helmet used to be a big cost for us. The only good thing which has come from COVID is that now we can remove helmet from our cost item as such. So while doing that, we have relooked at everything around economics, and we are accelerating all that we always wanted to do. And now the scale is much lesser than what it used to be. So it also gives us an edge to experiment a lot of things. So we want to make the best out of this time and experiment and figure out and make sure that we come out with a profitable unit economics business.
I always like talking this with you because you're the maths guy. So I'm sure you're looking at the numbers. Last time you were mentioning, Vivekanand, about this EV, right? Your foray into EV. I think this is also the moment to accelerate now, because the world is talking about EV, cleanliness and everything. Yes. So tell me what is happening from the last we spoke.
Yeah, we have 1,000 EV scooters on the road in Bangalore.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, they're running, and we have a distributed network for battery swapping. So battery infra or anything is something that we are not worried about. We thought it very early in our days, and we started working on it. So EV is a working model for us. Now it's all about adding more electric vehicles. We have been using a third-party electric scooter so far, but also, like I said, we built our own electric scooter. So we have started getting that in small numbers. We got about 10 last week. So we're getting more and more. That scooter is built for sharing, and we're getting interest from across the world for people to use it in their mobility companies. So we have a lot of interest from European companies to use our electric dockless scooter to everything. But what we are focusing on is accelerating our own electric vehicle adoption as well, which is built for sharing, which there is nothing that you can steal on those scooters. It is built for sharing. It can do a lot of kilometers. It probably can do about 300,000 kilometers easy as in its life. So things like that. So we are just accelerating efforts around that.
Yeah, I spoke to Bhavish last week, and Ola has bought a Dutch scooter
I know.
company. Yeah. So I think so there is an overall trend that world will move towards this, right? And
Yeah.
world will move towards usage of scooters. So at least that is getting more and more validated. But I also want to understand from you that there have been conversations around that, the fear, right? The fear that people have uh, to using shared
Shared
mobility,
asset.
or is growing. I want you to understand, because you track this space very closely, you are in this space. What are some of the trends that you're seeing from across the world on this?
Sure.
Because this is all hearsay, right?
Yeah.
Now.
See, the fear is very natural, right? Because we are talking about people's lives. Everybody would be worried about their life than anything else. So that fear is very natural, and you can't ignore that fear. So that is there, right? It's reality. People are worried about infection. People are worried. That's why they're not coming out, right? If anyone who has the luxury of not coming out, he's not coming out, right? Those are the rest of them who have to get out are the ones who are getting out. So given this, we think that fear is definitely is going to be there. We'll have to see how long it will play beyond the COVID, if there is a vaccine to everything, but we don't know when the vaccine is going to come out and everything. But what we've seen so far, the first reference point is China. China, there were two reference point which came out. OFO was almost dead pre-COVID, but post-COVID or during COVID, they're doing really well. OFO and Mobix both. So Meituan owns Mobix, and Mobix is doing really well, is what we have heard. I think within first 3 months of COVID reducing itself for them, they were back at close to 70-80% of rides as such. And actually they gained a lot of popularity as such, is what we have heard in China. Taiwan did not see much of impact in terms of COVID. People have been using public transport, and also there are scooter rental companies like us who are doing very well there. Europe has been a good, interesting touch point because they also had a lot of COVID cases. Spain was badly impacted. And what we've seen in Europe again is that today there was a news in TechCrunch. I don't know if you saw that. So there is a company called GoTo which raised money today in Europe. They do something similar. They're pretty small. They raised, I think they raised about $10 million or something. So even it has started getting investments there. We have seen cities in Europe bringing in dedicated part of the road for shared mobility scooters or cycles. UK has called a response from people across the world to implement shared mobility on cycles or scooters in UK. So I think whole Europe is showing a massive interest towards shared mobility on a kick scooter or a scooter kind of solution. And we last week I was reading a report where there was a particular handle called Micromobility, which talks about what's happening across the globe, which said that Bird and Lime both are seeing close to about 120 to 140% spike in their app downloads to everything. So this shows that of all the solutions out there, probably driverless solutions would make sense. That is what we are trying to derive out of it. And again, coming back to India, very specific point, I think not everyone can afford a scooter. That's why we still have only 20 million scooters being bought on an annual basis in India for a billion plus population, right? And if you see our personal vehicle ownership, it's still sub 20%, both two-wheelers plus four-wheelers put together. And in a COVID world where people are losing jobs or people are saving money for insurances and healthcare, I don't know if they would really spend on a depreciating asset. So definitely there'll be segments of population which will buy a new vehicle, be it a car or a two-wheeler. There'll be segments which will buy used vehicles. But I think a substantial set of population from public transport would come to shared scooters is what I believe. So probably we'll have a lot of tailwind is what I think.
Yeah. Vivekanand, the other question I had was, see, what I hear from you, the strategy for Bounce in India to lead, to succeed, and to do how you are doing is, one is the driverless mobility that you have, the scooters that you have. And the second thing that you talk about is your whole focus now also on EV vehicles, because it also brings down the cost of running the operations. And anyways, you you look at the numbers very closely. If I had to peek inside your boardroom and ask you, if you look at the strategy and you look at the thinking and the discussions, if you can tell us something in terms of strategy, what are you thinking? What's the focus?
I think one thing that we at Bounce, the board and the stakeholders understand is that there will be ups and downs in terms of the rights that we can expect in short term, because the cases are also very being very varied, right? Bangalore was used to be a safe place. Now we are under lockdown. I think till the large population are in a way infected or they build resistance, this is going to happen. So next few months, this is going to be there. We will continue to provide solution to the best possible extent. And we would focus on capability building, the things that we always wanted to build, and we were always chasing growth. We will probably focus on building certain capabilities which are more logical and which will give us a lot of savings and value creation in the long run. So be it EV, be it the Kirana, those kind of initiatives is something that we will press a pedal very hard on. Apart from that, I think most people, not just in our board, but also across the investor community, believe that there might be a lot of impact now, but whoever will survive probably will also be able to consolidate a lot of things. I think we have been fortunate where we raised some money just before COVID, and we're sitting on cash. At least that we have to be really thankful for that. So I think investor sentiment is also that this segment will get a lot of tailwind, and we just have to be ready to take that tailwind and really fly. So I think the strategy is pretty simple: build on capabilities, focus on core things which will add value in the long run, and just survive this.
Yeah. Like in some categories, for example, we saw in e-commerce rather that there are one or two, three players who dominate the space, and then we saw in food tech. I don't know if it's food tech, Zomato, Swiggy, and food tech, right? Like you need to lead the market. I want to understand in your space, is there also this growth to be the most dominant player, or do you think that there is scope for many of you? How do you see that?
Yeah, so I think probably time will answer that. But what I think for a mobility for a billion population, I don't think any company is out there which can say that I'll serve them all, right? Everyone has a vision that I want to serve them all, but when can the serve is really something hard to think and work on, right? And it will take a couple of years for everyone, even with the well-funded ones, for being around for the longest of the time. It will take a lot of time for you to solve for mobility for India. So I think I think there is space for more than one. Definitely, we don't know how many players, and also mobility is such a solution where there are different kinds of use cases, there are different set of users. So I don't know if one company can solve for all or is built to solve for all. That's where I also think there'll be a lot of consolidations again, where multiple use cases, multiple solutions being on the same platform might take on well. And in terms of dominance, I think definitely in the markets that you operate, for a business at least like us, network effect has a very important impact. In Bangalore, when we do 100,000 rides, with how many scooters we do, that is important, right? And at what cost do we do? A lot of scale benefits comes in when you have more and more rides happening on the same scooter, and there is a ride which happens for every after ending every ride. If there is another user who is waiting for your scooter, it really helps out, right? In terms of economics, it gives us cost leadership as well. So there is definitely network effect in a shared scooter without a driver. In terms of dominance, I don't know how you dominate other than just serving as many as users possible and giving a very reliable solution. And while doing all that, you survive and not burn out too much cash, right? So I think today, I don't know if someone would say that, okay, I want to capture whole of the mobility segment now. I'll do whatever it takes during COVID and let me outrun someone else. I don't think that would work in a mobility segment. Also, mobility over a period of time is treated like a commodity, is what I think. So people will switch, right? People will switch. So I don't see any significant advantage someone will get by trying to dominate certain things now.
Yeah, but
one to add, probably domination is in terms of building long-term capabilities, is what I think.
Yeah. Because I just wanted to get a sense that, do you see that there is consolidation, like in different sectors we have seen, right? In e-commerce, food tech, we are seeing that. So do you see that this space will also have something like that, or it's open?
It should, I think. I think everyone is just waiting to touch upon this. Probably a lot of time went on housekeeping for everyone. But I think some things should start this quarter, right? As in, because now people would want to act on it. Initially, anyone would have wanted to wait and watch out, but I think people will start acting on this. So I'm very sure that like any segment, this should also see a lot of consolidation, or some kind of partnership, some kind of interesting propositions coming out should happen. And I think it's good for the ecosystem.
Yeah. Vivekanand, I want to understand also from you, and I'm sure everyone listening would love to know, is how do you look at the adjacencies in this model, right? Like today you have access to people who will be using, your product, they're using your scooters. What are some of the areas where you can diversify?
See, for us, one thing that we can enable people to do is, I think today we still not do B2B as such. We are completely B2C, but we want to increase utilization and we want to spread the asset out. So we'll definitely try and see how can people who don't have scooters, and e-commerce is taking off really well, how can e-commerce also get benefit of what we have built, right? Wherein, let's say you're a college student, you want to you want to do deliveries, or you want to do some stuff for a couple of hours, then you should be able to use Bounce to do that and then get on with your life. You don't have to do a 9 to 5 job on deliveries, but you can do it for just 1 hour or on the weekends kind of thing. So I think we and food delivery or e-commerce companies have a lot to work on together. And I think the beauty of what we have built is an IoT-based solution where anyone can come and access and things like that, right? So I think a lot of those kind of synergies also would really help. And I think because the food delivery and e-commerce, a lot of folks have gone back to their hometowns. Finding labor also has become a challenge. So now even those delivery companies of all kinds would be interested to get anyone to do a task for them. So I think that is something out there which would be very interesting in terms of collaboration. We also believe that there is a small segment of our Bounce users who would also love to do tasks. The way we were thinking always is that when we build Bounce, can the ride be net positive for a user who is going from point A to point B? Let's say Vivek is going from point A to point B. While doing this, instead of spending money on commute, can I actually also do some tasks and probably make money during my commute, which is the most wasteful time of my day, right? So imagine if a college student is going 10 kilometers point A to point B every day. If you can deliver something from point A to point B, it would be great, right? So I think a cohort of our users would love to do kind of tasks on the platform. So I think that also would make sense. From a consumer point of view, see, we are the most frequented transactional platform, right? Because it's utility you need day in, day out. So I think because we have the touch point to the user is so high, we can definitely help banks do certain things for them, multiple things, right? So can we work with a bank and try and introduce a service of a bank to our users? We can do that. We know a lot about users, so we can do user profiling really well. So we'll try to work with NBFCs and banks and try and offer their product to our user base. So I think these are 2 or 3 logical things that we could do. Apart from that, I think because we are the largest reservoir of people without scooters, if the wave is really about a particular population wanting to buy their own vehicles, probably we can facilitate that as well. So we can be the e-store for all the OEMs, and OEMs are showing a lot of interest for that as well. So we think that even that might be a possibility.
I was just getting a sense of how you are thinking. And of course, you're thinking all the different things and the possibilities that can happen. Vivekanand, I want to ask you, as an entrepreneur, as a young entrepreneur who's so high on energy and drive and your whole passion that comes out for what you're doing, what has the last few months meant for you?
See, nobody thought of COVID, right? As in, also as a founder and as CEO, see, we were always kind of on steroids because of growth that we were at, right? Everything was around growth and unit economics. These are the only 2 things that we could think of. I had probably never thought that I will have a time in company when I have to fire people. So I've read some thousands of books around layoffs. I didn't know that how tough layoffs are. I thought probably we will never have to do layoffs, is how I always used to think. Probably that was stupid of me, but first time we went through layoffs, and I think that is the toughest thing to do in life. I think it's very painful because it puts you through a lot of things, right? So layoffs is the last thing that you would have to do, but I think now I really understand what it means to chop off an arm to just keep the body going, right? So I think layoffs are something like that. And we had to lay off people who were with us for longest of the times, who are doing really great, but we had to really think and put company first to make sure that we are prepared for the worst case scenarios, which means a lot of things, right? So layoffs is something that I think are probably the toughest things which I had to do along with my colleagues and co-founders. But I think that is what most of us have gone through now, right? Any founder who had to lay off, I understand their pain now. That is one. Second, really thinking who are your wartime partners, right? So when things are really good, things are really good, right? But how do people react? How do people behave during wartime is something. It's also been very nice experience. I think got a lot of things to write a blog or write a book now. That we've gone through. But it's been a very interesting time. I think accelerated everything. Probably something totally unexpected, right? So these have been the things, and also to tell everyone on what am I thinking as a CEO, what is going to happen in terms of mobility, what is going to happen to the company, to everything. So these were the very interesting times which probably I had not planned for or not prepared for, and had to go through that. So that has been through last 3 months. While doing all this, also to make sure that we still don't lose focus on what we were meant to do as a company, right? So just staying focused on what we want to do as a company is something that,
Here I can just say I feel you. I think every entrepreneur has to go through it is very, very tough. And the space that you are in, unfortunately, right now, it has been like that. But like you say, the tailwind is going to be with the business. Yeah. Vivek, we are talking in Money Matters. This is a program, Money Matters, where we talk about money. I want to ask you, what has money personally meant to you?
not an easy question at all, right? So, but over time, I've realized that. So when I was a kid, when I came to Bangalore, I always wanted to have a lot of money. I didn't know why or how much, right? So you wouldn't know how much money is good money, right? But you would have seen all the movies and everything, but you know that money is definitely required, right? And we've gone through toughest of the times, pre-funding to everything, managing all of that. So we've seen all the ups and downs. So I always used to joke internally in the company. As a business, we always talk about raising money in millions of dollars. When it comes to talking internally, when we talk about costs or anything, everything is in paisa and rupees. So that's how money has been for us. It's been an interesting journey. And I think in a way, money shows, somehow I feel that money is a performance report, at least in short run or short term. It is one of the things that will tell you how something is doing. A lot of times it might be not the true measure of success or failure, but it definitely is an indicator of what is happening. But I think beyond that, I think now I've grown much from what I used to be like from my college times or anything. Now it's more about how do we manage it really well, right? Because one thing that I've really understood, at least as a founder, is that it's very easy to lose money, and every decision will cost us money, and just focus on your cash flows, and everything else should revolve around it while you build a great brand. So it's very easy to lose money is what I've understood. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, we all go through this learning curve. No, this is so important in our journeys. Yeah, but personally, you don't have like a milestone that, oh, I have to make so much of money and blah blah.
I think no. I still remember long time back when again I was in college. 1 crore was a great amount. So I used to tell my friends, I want just 1 crore to come to my bank account and go out. Then I feel that I've accomplished something, is what I used to feel. So that used to be when I used to be still young and in college. But after that, I think all the money targets have been around either the profitability or in terms of paisa, saying that we want to make X paisa per kilometer profit or something of that sort. But personally, no targets as such. I think as long as able to provide for a good shelter, provide for food and everything, I'm pretty happy, and I'm not married, so I don't have to really worry about kids and education. Probably the reality has not hit me yet. So for now, no targets as such. And fortunately, things have been good so far. Yeah.
Yeah, good, good.
Do you have,
Vivek,
Shraddha?
huh?
Because you asked me a question, I thought I'll ask you. Do you have what money means to you?
Actually, I don't know if you'll relate to, I have a very schizophrenic, if I may say so, relationship with money because we all grew up in middle class household where money was always less. So the dream tha ki paisa hona chahiye, kamana chahiye, and not be dependent. So I never wanted to be
Yeah.
dependent on anyone because, you become a liability type. So wo clear tha. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So but yeah, money doesn't drive me. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
influence drives me.
Yeah.
How can you impact and influence people? Yeah, that way I'm quite a failure, yeah, when it comes to money. So
Like I said, it is not the true indicator. So yeah.
yeah. But I relate to what you are saying, that what you said, that in college we all wanted to make
Yeah.
certain, we all had 1 crore was like for
The
me it
magic
was
number.
2 crores. Means do.
You too, is it? Nice.
And I still haven't reached it. But anyways,
Same, yeah.
yeah. So Vivek, if I have to ask you today, what's what's the big dream that you are living with Bounce?
See, I think what drives most of the people in Bounce and probably me as well is that to do something which people have thought it is not possible to do or not have given up on that, right? Or probably they feel it's not a solvable problem, and which can impact millions of people. So I think mobility is something that which impacts everyone in some form or fashion. Someone might think, no, I go by my own car. How will Bounce impact me? Probably your maid is using Bounce. That's why she can do 10 jobs and still you can get your favorite maid. Though you've been changing houses because she can get to your place. So I think mobility impacts everyone. And like you said, even I come from a middle class family. I still know how tough it is for me to do my classes and internship. So I'm a chartered accountant, right? So we had to do that mandatory articleship, which used to be crazy, and you had to do everything. Fortunately, I had a friend who got me who took a scooter in his name and gave it to me. I don't know why he did that, but that changed my life, right? So I think mobility can change lives.
Yeah,
Affordable mobility in a country like India, right?
yeah,
Uh, so we have that one shot. At least uh, 2 years back, we would have said that we want to do that and we wanted a shot. I think today we've got everything that we wanted, right? As in, we've got investors who believe in us. We've got money to do that. We have great set of people who are working in Bounce to make that happen, right? So I think we just have to do that now. So and we've come a long way. We've done probably 25 million rides in Bangalore, and we are few rupees away from getting that profitability. We always wanted to do electric scooters. We are almost there. So I think the possibility that exists that we can actually make mobility a fundamental right. It might be all the crazy words that we're talking about, right? But it means real, as in
yeah,
you can get from point A to point B with at a
yeah,
very low cost, and it can change their lives. And that is what we are going after. While doing this, we also want to make sure that we change the way we can impact cities and people, the way they spend time on traffic or anything, right? So that is the vision that we have with, and we wanted to do with a scooter. That's been the dream so far, and we'll see how far we can get to. And one thing for sure, I think all of us are very kind of got into this with a lot of struggle and everything. So one thing I can resonate on behalf of Bounce as well is that we will not give up. As simple as that. It's very tough for us to walk away from this. So we'll do whatever it takes to give our best shot. And if that happens, nothing like it, right? So it's
yeah,
going to be a different world.
yeah. I have to say this, that you're a force of nature. You have such a energy, and I can just imagine, uh, behind all these smile and energy, so much of grit and so much of hard work and resilience must be, coming together. So yeah, all the very best with Bounce. We are all rooting and cheering, and to see more of Bounce scooters on the road. Like they're all over, this yellow color scooters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we look forward to seeing them in hordes and hordes in the coming days. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks so much.